All right, students. Hello, how are you? I want to go ahead and start talking about prefixes. And prefix, of course, pre means kind of more so before, so prefixes. So basically, simply just in language, we have what's known as the root word. All right, so that's like in the middle. And you have the prefix coming before and suffix coming after. So we will get into talking about suffixes soon, but I want to illustrate and talk about some of the medical terminology as relates to prefixes. All right. So you got the prefix that comes before. You get pre before the root word and the suffix. For instance, here's an example: hypothyroidism. All right, I'm sorry, hyperthyroidism. I'm thinking about another prefix here. Hyper, meaning higher than normal, like hypertension. Here's the root word: thyroid, the thyroid gland, and the condition. Um, ism. So hyperthyroidism. Simply just higher than normal activity of the thyroid gland. Again, prefix, root word, suffix, uncontrollable. Okay, control, that's root word, able. All right. Okay, so let's go through some examples of prefixes. All right, so basically, I think that I've already loaded, I guess, a list of prefixes that you need to know in Moodle, but I'm just going to just talk about only a few of them here in the PowerPoint. Uh, and, all right. Now, if you have the word, the letter A, it means without, yes. But if you have and, that means like that next word or that next letter rather is a vowel. So anaerobic, I can't say aerobic, so anaerobic, right? And again, we have this an if the next letter typically is a vowel. All right. So you have anaerobic, that means simply without oxygen. This is the name of a bacterial organism called Clostridium perfringens. And here's a stain of Clostridium perfringens. And this is the causative agent of gas gangrene. So as you can see, unfortunately, this patient is a bad case of it with gas gangrene. Again, that's being caused by Clostridium perfringens. And this is an anaerobic bacterial organism where that it grows and survives without or in the absence of oxygen. So without oxygen or within the or in the absence of oxygen. That's why it's anaerobic. All right. Angio, vessels, like angiogenesis. And we see this actually a number of times with tumors, where that tumors release agents that induce the growth of blood vessels to tumors. So as you see here, all right, cancer cells, tumors actually growing, and you see these little blue dots here, all right, so they're just actually releasing these chemicals here because tumors, these are cells. They need oxygen, they need water, they need nutrients, and blood vessels will bring it to them, and then they need to get rid of their waste. So what happens is that they're releasing these chemicals that stimulates the growth of blood vessels to infiltrate into the cells, and that's how one way that tumors actually are able to feed and survive and to grow. So that's angio, again, dealing with vessels, angiogenesis. All right, anti, against, as in an antibody. We have antibodies as a part of our immune system, and they form, and these are actually proteins made up of a whole bunch of amino acids, and they form in response to some sort of immune, event. So you have these antigens that actually fit right here, almost like very, very specific. So the antibodies are against the antigens. And these antigens can be maybe like different kinds of bacteria, viral infections, pollen, just any foreign material that gets into your body, and your immune system is going to react and produce antibodies. It's going to be against a particular antigen. All right, auto means self, like an automatic car. It basically the transmission changes on itself. So unfortunately, sometimes we have autoimmune diseases where that basically your immune system turns on itself and it looks at your own cells and tissues, identifies it, and thinks that it is foreign, and then your immune system just goes overboard, just goes nuts. We see that sometimes with some diabetic patients where the immune system are attacking the cells in the pancreas, rheumatoid arthritis, and things of that nature. So auto is self. All right. Heme or hemo, talking about blood. So if you ever heard of hemodialysis, that's simply just where we're filtering out the waste product from the blood. Okay. Hyper means above excess. So here's a graph where that's looking at the regular blood glucose levels. So as you see here, sorry for the crooked line, it's kind of hard to draw this here, right? But here's the normal fasting levels in terms of glucose. So we're like around 60 to 70 to maybe like 110 milligrams per 100 milliliters, okay, of blood glucose. Well, anyway, so basically, if a person is hyperglycemic, all right, glycemia is kind of indicating of sugar, uh, you're above excess. Okay, so this is normal in yellow. All right, so we want to, most people run in this range. So hyper, you're above. Hypo simply means low, too low. So you're below, you're beneath. So again, hypo is also a prefix meaning below, beneath, and hyper is a prefix meaning above and in excess. All right. And that's what I just mentioned about with the hypo. That's simply just deficiency or beneath. So this is hypo. It is beneath normal. It's under normal. Hypoglycemia. Leuko, white, talking about the white blood cells. So like in this little picture, you have, of course, the red blood cells, and these are the white blood cells. All right. So right here, all right, are the white blood cells. All right. However, in the unfortunate case of leukemia, basically kind of cancer of pretty much like the white blood cells, you see a proliferation, a huge increase of white blood cells. So with homeostasis, you want to basically a balance. You don't want too few white blood cells. You don't want too many white blood cells. You want a balance. All right, so that's just the caveat of homeostasis. But here we're just having too many white blood cells, and of course, unfortunately, that can cause a problem. Another picture of it there, right? All right, these are the white blood cells here. These are red blood cells. Okay, so this is actually from a slide from a patient or anything who has leukemia. Now, if we have an infection in our body, our white blood cell count will go up, and then eventually it will drop. But with leukemia, unfortunately, the white blood cell counts will go up and can stay up for a while. Myo, okay, dealing with muscle, so like an MI, that's what we might call it an MI, myocardial infarction, that's a blockage of blood flow to the heart. So that's a situation where blood, okay, and the coronary artery is blocked. The heart is a muscle. It needs blood as well. It needs oxygen coming from the blood, from the circulatory system. It is not going to get the oxygen of the blood going into the chambers, but it gets its oxygen to feed the cardiac muscle from basically from the vessels that you see here on the outside there. Okay, so a myocardial infraction, you have a blockage of here, denying the heart muscles the blood supply needs in order to function properly, and that can cause a heart attack. So myocardial infarction is a heart attack. New, like Renee to say, newborn children. You might hear of a neonatal unit. So neo means new. All right, Nephr, kidney. So a nephrologist is a person who studies the functions of kidneys. All right, osteo, bones. So osteoporosis basically is a situation where that it's has a situation where that, as you see the bone, it's quite porous, huge gaps that increases the likelihood of just the bone being brittle, increases the likelihood of the bone being fracturing or breaking. And you see that typically a little bit more so with older patients, whereas people who are younger and healthier, their bones are more condensed and more packed. And just some other things. Phago means to eat. Post is after, and pio means pus. Like I said, there should be a list posted that has definitely many more words, but I just wanted to just talk about just a few of the prefixes. All right, thank you.